a man made a horrifying discovery at his fish farm. An uninvited visitor had arrived. The creature, ravenous, was extending its tentacles in every direction, searching for fresh prey. It was the Kraken of legend, risen from the deep. The following day, two young men were tearing across the strait on a jet ski, oblivious to the enormous shadow materializing beneath them. A second later, they were gone. The setting was Norway's largest salmon farming operation. Its owner, Jostein, was pitching to a wealthy investor, hoping to secure funding that would multiply the following year's output tenfold. The problem with such density of farming, as both men knew, was that it dramatically increased the risk of sea lice infestation, the single greatest threat to farmed salmon. Jostein's answer was a sonic device his team had developed. It could eliminate the parasites without harming the fish. What the investor didn't know was that the technology had been invented by Johanna, a researcher at the Norwegian Institute of Marine Research. She had just received a video. Salmon by the hundreds had been throwing themselves onto the shore near the farm. The behavior was a clear sign of environmental disruption, and she suspected the sonic device was the cause. In fact, she had flagged this very risk during the design phase. The machine, she had warned, had the potential to destabilize the surrounding marine ecosystem. When she arrived at the location from the video, the salmon had already been cleared away. But the shoreline told its own story. Several fishing nets lay in tatters, their buoys burst clean open. The force required to drag them into the deep and compress them to that point would have been measured in tons. At the farm, Johanna pulled a salmon from the water. It appeared healthy. While it was still fresh, she dissected its heart and gradually raised the frequency on the sonic device. At a certain threshold, the sound waves entered resonance with the cardiac tissue, a finding with serious implications. At that moment, a monitoring alert came through. One of the farm's sonic units had just gone offline. The technician Eric hauled it up from the water and removed the casing. The core module showed signs of external impact. As the two of them examined it, a faint, strange sound came from inside. Reaching in carefully, the man pulled out something small and unknown. Johanna dissected it. The organism appeared to be a parasitic species previously unknown to science, capable of producing bioluminescence. Its origin was unmistakably the deep ocean. But if this was a parasite, what kind of creature would serve as its host? Meanwhile, the two young men's jet ski washed up on shore. The police saw nothing alarming in it. Life in the small coastal town went on undisturbed. People took to the calm water for kayaking practice as usual. One woman took a deep breath and dove beneath the surface, working through an exercise in freeing herself from an overturned sailboat. Her teammates watched the water. She never came back up. By the time police arrived, only the upper half of her body remained. But this stretch of coastline was not only Norway's biggest fishery, it was also a popular tourist destination. To prevent panic, the authorities recorded the death as an accident. Similar accidents continued to occur throughout the town. Johanna's investigation yielded another unsettling result. She detected the farm's parasite clearing frequencies in open water 3 kilometers beyond the facility's perimeter. The waves were powerful enough to penetrate thousands of meters of ocean with minimal loss. Eric was baffled. He had installed signal blockers around the farm's perimeter. The frequency should not have been able to travel that far. He called Jostein immediately. It turned out that Jostein, determined to drive sea lice out of the entire surrounding area entirely, had ordered his equipment manager Algert to disable the blockers. The investor had now committed his funding. Jostein added as soon as the money came through, he promised to reactivate the blockers. He hung up before Eric could respond further. In that same moment, a girl in the underwater restaurant stared through the observation glass at the seafloor below. Something was there. Elsewhere, Jostein's daughter Maria had slipped away to the farm with two friends. Johanna had told her the truth about the sonic devices, and Maria couldn't stomach watching her father sacrifice the ocean for profit. The three of them planned to quietly destroy the equipment. One of the boys pulled on a wetsuit and dropped into the water, locating the device without difficulty. He didn't know he wasn't alone in the dark water. Maria's cries for help finally reached Eric. Then the platform shuddered violently beneath everyone's feet. Alarms erupted in the control room. The anchor chains holding the farm in place had pulled taut to the point of snapping. Fog rolled in from nowhere, swallowing the surface of the water. Maria stood frozen in place, and then something emerged above her. By some fortune, it didn't see her. She made it back to the control room, shaking, and told the others what she had seen. Then a metallic clanging began from somewhere overhead. The ventilation ducts above them filled with sound. The parasites, crawling through. They were trapped. In the control room, Algert watched in terror as the creature's tentacles wrapped around the entire structure of the farm. No one else had grasped yet what was happening. By then, the creature's limbs were filling every corridor. Jostein grabbed a length of steel pipe and drove it into a tentacle to reach his daughter. On the other side of the facility, Algert locked himself inside a cold storage unit, only to find a parasite crawling toward him. The low temperature seemed to have slowed it considerably. He steeled himself, flipped it over, and leaned in for a closer look and was promptly sprayed in the face. Johanna ran through the vessel's interior with the creature seemingly everywhere at once. Being a cephalopod, it could compress and contort through almost any space. She retreated into a ventilation duct, but the tentacles seemed to extend without limit. She dropped to the floor below just in time, only for another limb to reach toward her. She pressed herself into a corner and went completely still. Deep-sea creatures like this generally lack functional vision. They locate prey through the vibrations of movement. Any motion could mean death. Eric, nearby with a fire axe in hand, signaled urgently, "Do not move." His eyes found the emergency thruster mounted in the corner. Across the room, Maria finally regained consciousness. The tentacles continued to sweep toward them. Their only chance was to reach the open platform above. They plunged into the sea. The crash of their entry drew the creature's attention instantly. Jostian shoved Maria clear and told her not to look back, and in the next moment, offered himself to the creature. The survivors gathered in the control room, but the structure wouldn't hold much longer. The tentacles were dragging the entire platform toward the deep. Eric fired a flare into the air, and for the first time, they saw the creature fully. Johanna formed a plan. She had Eric retrieve the remaining sonic units from storage and bind them together. The creature had been drawn here by the sound. The same sound should be able to lead it away. Before they could act, a parasite lunged at Maria. Then the police, having spotted Eric's flare, arrived on the scene. Johanna loaded the sonic units onto a speedboat and drove hard away from the town. She cranked the frequency to maximum. A piercing high-frequency vibration filled the air. Almost immediately, fog gathered behind her. The creature was following. She cut the engine and scanned the darkness for any sign of it. Then it struck. A tentacle seized her and dragged her before the creature. Face to face with it now, staring into its vast eyes, the last of her strength left her. Then the high-frequency resonance took effect. The sound waves locked into the creature's heartbeat and drove it into catastrophic resonance. The leviathan that had reigned over the deep died at human hands, or rather, at human sound. Johanna, her oxygen exhausted, did not make it back to the surface.